everyone, and welcome to our first part of this weekend's SummerSlam review. We're looking back at night one, and as by ever, we're joined by Tim. Hi, Tim. How you doing, mate?
I'm not too bad, Lee. How about yourself?
Yeah, not too bad. Feel like I've been watching a lot of wrestling lately, so getting a bit wrestling overload at the moment.
Yeah, I just think this is only day 2 of 4.
Exactly. Slam, night one, what we're here for. Okay, so we started off with obviously Roman Reigns, Jey Uso, and Bronson Reed. What do you think of this match?
First thing I want to mention is how long did it take Roman and Jey to get to the ring? I kept checking the time. I mean, the program was, 3 hours 36? The match doesn't start until, it took 15 minutes to get to the point where we were ready to start a match. That's too long for me. I know Roman has a long intro, but Jesus, that's too long.
Yeah, I get that. And sorry to go even before that, but obviously we had the planes flying over and then Cardi B miming to her own song just to scream down the microphone and then go. It just felt like a very long beginning overall with that bit. And then, like I said, the entrances, it just felt crazy before.
Yeah, and whilst I understand the need to get these guys on early because get the crowd going, I think they're in the wrong position. I don't think they should have opened it. I think we needed something that was a little bit more quicker, a little bit more better paced. I thought the match was really good, really solid, and the stories that were told in the match, Jey takes such a beating that it's really good storytelling. The tag team Bronson and Bron looked brilliant. I've been saying this for weeks. They looked brilliant. And the story they told to then get the hot tag for Roman was really good storytelling. I just think it was the wrong pacing at that time.
Yeah, the crowd didn't seem warmed up, like I said. And the one spot I didn't really get was the Yeet Rewind. That was very early on in the match, and I don't see why to do that, because it just, Bronson and Bron weren't hurt enough. So you knew they were going to jump in and attack on that. So it just seemed a bit of a pointless time to do it.
Yeah, no, I agree. Yeah, as I said, it was just little things. The match action itself, I thought, was really clever. It's just some of the little nuances were a bit of an issue. I did like Roman's spear through the barricade. I thought that was clever. There's a callback to last week's action, but I think we got to be careful we're not doing too much of these spots, because eventually I'm going to just expect it every single time.
Yeah, because you're thinking they're big guys, so someone's going through the barricade. Another thing that was quite interesting, and I would like to get your thoughts where it's going. Obviously, the story was Roman taking things for Jey. So he took that last spear for Jey to get the win. He also took something, I can't remember what it was earlier on in the match, and that seemed to be the main emphasis, even on commentary at the end. Where do you think they're going with this? Because obviously Roman's got that reputation of being selfish and all about him for the last 4 or 5 years that he was the tribal chief. Why do you think they're going back to this angle now?
I think that actually leads into the ending, because I looked at it and I thought, I was with you. I thought that Bronson and Bron should have won the match. But I thought if one of them was going to eat the pin, Bronson Reed needed to eat the pin. He's the guy that needed to take it. But I was convinced Roman Reigns was going to get the pin. The fact that, as you say, Roman protected Jey both during storyline and obviously in the finish, because Roman's the biggest star. There's no question about it. The entrances, you could see that. Jey's still popping quite big, but Roman got the bigger shouts. So to allow him to get the pin, I think that's going to be important. And I wonder whether I'm hoping they don't go for the tag team belts, because this is the wrong group. I just wonder whether, with Roman probably dipping in and out, whether he's almost just going to push his support right behind Jey.
Yeah, because that's what I was wondering, because obviously we know he's filming Street Fighter, so they've got to get him out at some point. So you don't want to build him up too big, because then when you've got to take him away, it could ruin the storyline. So yeah, maybe him being a supporting role over the next couple of months for Jey. is obviously to help elevate Jay, but also gives them a quick exit when they need to get Roman out for his filming schedule, maybe. That's the only thing I
Yeah,
can think of, really. So I
yeah,
don't want them to revert back to the big dog character, because obviously that was the character that got booed and everyone had enough of. So I'm a little bit worried. I think he needs to keep this tribal chief character, because this is the one that connects with the audience.
yeah. I'm with you. I think this is the character he needs to be. You say the big dog, and I'm immediately remembering the Baron Corbin with the dog food, and that was just the worst thing in the world. He will obviously disappear for a period of time. He's on a part-time schedule anyway, so he can dip in and dip out. I imagine we'll probably see him in Raw for a couple of weeks, and then he'll like disappear into the ether. And that, I suppose, that helps Jay because then he's left on his own.
Yeah, no, exactly. But yeah, I agree with you. Overall, it was quite a decent match, just the wrong time of the night.
Yeah.
And then that led into...
Yeah, so here's my problem. You open up with a tag team and you follow it off with a tag team. That's a no-go. I think you're immediately asking for trouble. And there were 3 tag team matches on the whole event, on the night one. And the positioning was all wrong. So for me, if you're going to open a tag team, you then insert like a singles match in between, and then you go to another tag team. If you're gonna do it this way. But as for the women's match, how good were they all? They were fantastic. Everybody going back, everybody popping for Charlotte. I've been saying this for weeks. Like, she's been rehabbed really well.
What I actually liked is they didn't have Alexa and Charlotte instantly on the same page in their first match. There was a couple of spots where they miscommunicated. Obviously, Alexa hitting Charlotte, and I thought that was really clever because it shows they're not a developed team, and that's the idea. I hate it when WWE get 2 big single stars, chuck them together, and then in the match they're a polished team. So I actually liked the whole presentation of this group, and I was really happy they won because obviously I've been saying for weeks as well they needed to put the belt on. I got a little bit scared, obviously, with that hit because you said they might split them up at this time, and I keep pushing for split them up at the Rumble. So I'm glad they didn't split. I'm glad sort of they had that weird hug out at the end.
I think there's more to tell with this story. I think we're going to go well. I think they're also going to benefit being able to go on Raw, NXT, SmackDown for the tag team. I think they'll benefit from getting the right exposure. So this is a win-win for me. But I'm with you. As soon as I saw a hit, I thought, oh, we're going to turn them already. But again, the story they told at the end was better. And they said, look, Charlotte goes, you caught me there, but it's fine because we've got the gold. And that's what we want. That is what the stories that we need.
Exactly. And again, commentary done a great job. Wade's so good at his job because when Michael Cole asked him, would you take that? And he said, no, you've won the gold. So we'll go off and still celebrate. So even him feeding into the story. And I just think we've got to give our flowers to Raquel and stuff as well. They played their part in that match so well. With cutting off Alexa to get Charlotte the hot tag, so the crowd was able to give her a massive pop when she did come in. So I think, yeah, overall, great match. Again, wrong placement because we just had that tag match before, like you said a minute ago.
Yeah, exactly it. And I'm with you. Roxanne Perez, since she's come up to the main roster, has been a phenomenal star. When she finally moves and finds her own niche, I think she's going to flourish. We're looking at a future WWE champion without a doubt.
Yeah, I think she's doing really well at filling in the Liv spot, but I think she needs to go as soon as Liv gets back because she needs to go off and be a single star.
I think you can get away with, because we know when Liv comes back, she's coming back as a face. There's absolutely, she started to turn towards before she got injured. She's going to be off until probably the Rumble. When she comes back in the Rumble, which I would assume is going to be like a surprise, then she's going to get a big pop. She's going to get cheers. I don't think the Judgment Day, I think we'll have a Roxanne Perez, Liv Morgan match. Probably Elimination Chamber.
Yeah, could you see that program actually go to WrestleMania and it being a WrestleMania match?
For that to be the case, either Roxanne or Raquel has to win the WWE title. And
Right.
I don't want that. The Raw's women's division is probably the most stacked for like main eventers. I want to be very careful where we go with that one.
Yeah, and then did that lead into that dodgy Papa John's advert with the Raw tag division?
It feels like it was just like I don't know, a random thing. And I'm glad you brought it up. That was an awful plug, right? But there were so many adverts throughout this pay-per-view or PLE or whatever we're going to call it. I understand WWE is getting money, but do we need quite as many as we got this time round?
Yeah, like I don't know if they're trying to fill out the time because it weren't like a Mania card with 8 matches. But yeah, like you said, it was just crazy the amount of adverts and that product placement. But I think in a way as well, it shows how poor Raw SmackDown division is. Because you literally had Raw SmackDown division and Nikki Bella in a pizza advert on the show. And we've always said for the last couple of weeks it's a poor division, but I think having it visually on screen like that just showed how terrible it was.
Yeah, I'm with you. It really does weaken the brand spectacularly. We've been saying this for weeks. Get some of the guys from SmackDown to Raw, have a little switch around. I'd possibly even move like the New Day on a SmackDown, bring a couple of the SmackDown guys on and have a little bit of an interchange that way. As you say, it's a really bad visual for the Raw Tag Team division.
So after that led into...
Yeah, we had the big Sammy and Karrion blow-off match. I thought it was pretty good. I thought it was well-paced. Both guys were getting cheered, which says Cross is still over. I know there's issues with his contract, but he's still over. I think WWE need to do more with him. But I think the match was, again, really solid paced, some good suplexes, great storytelling with the lead pipe.
Yeah, the only issue I've got with that storytelling is, as you said, they're both faces. Sammy went in as a face, and they tried to tell that he's a mega face because he threw that pipe and all that stuff. But I didn't believe throughout the whole match anyway that he was going to cheat. I know they were trying to angel devil on your shoulder storytelling, but I don't think it hit quite that good.
So I think he wins the Rumble anyway. I think he's going to win the Rumble. We'll look at where that goes. But I think he then goes on to headline WrestleMania and wins the belt. I'll tell you who that I think that is tomorrow night, because I think that's the important part. But he needs these matches. I don't want to say it felt like a TV match, because I don't think it was, but it was. If it had been put on a different card, I don't think I'd have felt too bad, but it's a SummerSlam event. I think this is the issue.
Yeah. So, like I said, a decent match, but we've had decent matches from them both the last 3 times, so...
You know what you're getting when you've got Karrion and Sammy in a ring. And again, Karrion is the heel, but fans still want him involved, and that's the important part for me. He still needs to be part of this company.
And that led on to the women's title match. And this actually shocked me, this match, because we had Tiffany and Clean, which I thought was very strange against someone like Jade, who I thought they were giving the mega push to.
Yeah, I was convinced Jade was going to win the belt, and I was like, they're going to push her forward. The action in the ring, for the most part, was pretty good. But again, as the commentary highlights, Tiffany's only been wrestling for 4 years, right? This is her first SummerSlam, and she's a world title. So she's been elevated really quickly. Jade hasn't been wrestling WWE for 2 years yet. She's been some of that time injured. They've been desperately careful to rehab her, to give her the right spots. Both women probably have combined less than 10 years in the business, and they're fighting for a world title. It does surprise me a little bit that they're where they are.
Yeah, and as I said a minute ago, what did you actually think of the clean finish? Because I think the way they've been packaging Jade, especially this year when she returned from her injury, obviously she dealt with Naomi, she won Queen of the Ring. The fact that it was just a clean sort of out of nowhere finish, sort of, I thought, oh, have they sort of fallen out of favour with her now? Like, it was weird to make her lose that way. I thought if they were going to keep it on Tiffy, then there'd be some form of cheating or like a ref bump or something, but nothing. It was just middle of the match, finish, win.
It's really weird for me because both women are faces with huge heel tendencies, and you'd have thought one of them would have lent into it a little bit. I'm glad Tiffany got a clean victory. I think she's showing that case. I think she'll stay champion until Rumble. I think that they'll keep the belt on her. She'll get close to like 350 days as champion because I think they value her quite well. The concern I have is if we go back to Night of Champions and Jade's Queen of the Ring victory, and I had an issue with finish on again Asuka, and I put that down to a wardrobe malfunction. She slipped, did it again with the finish, and where Tiff puts her foot on the rope, she didn't need to. That pinfall was so bad. Again, somebody needs to have a chat with her about trying to sort this pinfall out. She's made 2 mistakes with it for me now. Maybe they are starting to lose a little bit of confidence in her.
Yeah, maybe they just felt like it weren't time to pull the trigger because like, maybe those little things she needs to be sorted out first before they give her that mega push. But like you said, overall quite a solid match, and it was quite nice to have a clean win in a title match. So yeah, overall a good match. Do you think then this should have been the first match?
I think if you're gonna have Jay and Roman go on first, this is the first match. This is the match straight after. If you're going to insist on opening with them, this is the match you have afterwards to then get the tag team back up. Because the crowd were pretty popular with it. Both women are very popular throughout the universe, but you needed to break it up. And I think that's where we're having a trouble. That card placement has been the issue throughout this one.
Yeah, no, totally agree. And then that obviously led into what I felt like was going to be the match of the night with Jelly Roll, Orton, Paul, and McIntyre. It was really weird because I don't know like, if you see my predictions. I said it was been weird how they've been building the heel team, but they've done really well at making Logan very heelish in this match to the point that they had to censor the crowd chanting "F you, Logan," which I thought was a really good thing. So he actually done Logan really well this match.
I had the same conversation this morning with my other half. Like, he's a natural heel. There isn't a lot else you can do with him. He gets natural heat because of who he is, and because that's the case, you want to give him something like that. I'm worried that you're going to push him again up to another title run. He's not ready there. This is the issue. I like him as an athlete. His personal life, whatever, I'm not getting involved in that. I like him as a wrestler, but he needs to stay sort of that mid-card area. Anywhere else, I think he's getting pushed too much.
And how do you think Jelly Roll performed?
This is a funny one for me. After he takes what can only be a mammoth splash from Logan, which, by the way, full kudos to him because he took a beating and a half. He didn't need to do very much offense, but he bumped around really well. And I think that's important. That shows that you're prepared to. You're not there to try and win the match. You're there to go with that. When he takes that splash, my partner who was sat with me said, Oh, he's done. That's it. He's absolutely injured himself. They're going to be in trouble. And I said, he's coming back. After a couple of minutes, you could see it. So he understood the ring psychology from that point of view. And then when he got the tag and he came in and he does a couple of the moves, the black roll slam, as I said, it's where, again, Drew and Logan bumped like crazy for him, which was important. But he's taken another Claymore. He does really well. He understood what his role in the match. I was convinced he was the one going to pick up the pin. I'm kind of glad that he didn't in the end.
The only not issue I have with him, because he's just newly to the ring, but he was placing himself ready for the spots, which is obviously you've got to do. But then obviously the hands were coming over his dad by his legs. So I knew that splash was going to land because the way he had positioned himself, same with the other splash in the win, the Sonton, because he turned his body, crossed his arms, which obviously you're told to do when you're training, and this is his first match. But I thought it then took away that little bit of, is he going to roll out the way? Is he going to get his knees up? And that just comes with inexperience. He's a celebrity. So that is really nitpicking. I agree with you. I think he played his part very well in the story. And I'm actually happy. And I said I wanted him to win for the feel-good moment, but I believe with what we're going to get onto in a minute and what's going to happen tonight, you don't need the feel-good moment then. So I'm actually happy they lost. And I think congratulations to both, because I know Orton years ago would have had an ego and be like, no, I'm not losing if I've got a celebrity on my side. But obviously Orton would have been up for that. And Jenny Roll, as you said, he seems like he loves this business enough to know he can't just come in and storm and win the first match. So I think kudos to Jenny Roll, and yeah, credit to Orton all the time. I love giving Orton his credit. Orton, his last couple of years, has really grown on me. His attitude towards the business completely changed, and I love where his headspace is at.
No, I'm with you. He's gone from being a really immature, egocentric guy from when he first came on to the guy that will now push the next level of talent, and he wants everybody to reach up to that level. So he's there giving a hand down. What do I need? How can I bring you back up to my level? I think he does really well. What I say, Logan Paul, that splash, and I know I'm talking about it. The height he gets on it, and then the rotation as he has to pivot. Right, there are guys that have been wrestling decades that cannot get that kind of movement as he's in the air. So fair play, he did really well. Logan Paul was without a doubt a star. Again, I think you just got to measure him. Don't overexpose him, because that's where the negativity is. And Drew looked great. I think we're obviously still going to get a Randy Drew feud going through, probably to Survivor Series, maybe to the Rumble. Maybe that's what you give Drew going forward, because Drew needs something, and you need Drew somewhere near the top for me.
Oh no, 100%. I think Drew's a natural heel as well, playing to the crowd, even just leaning over the rope and looking around and giving that laugh when Jenny Roll was just unconscious in the corner. And like you said with Logan, it's so frustrating because you want to hate the guy, but as a wrestler, you've got to respect him. So yeah, overall, I think in the end, still quite a decent match. Okay, didn't get the moment I thought we was going to get, but I still think it was a decent match, and I'm quite happy it was on the card in the end. Still a bit iffy when it first announced, but it actually deserved to be on a PLE, so well done to all four of them.
Yeah, again, my I suppose possible issue is, does it need to be in the semi-main?
No, I don't agree with the placement. I just agree it should have been on the card.
Yeah, but again, I'm sure we'll talk more about it tomorrow when we finish it all off about it. But yeah, I think the card's been a little bit messed up. So this obviously then led us to the main event.
Before we go into it, yeah. I heard a couple of hours before online that Gunther's got a really bad nose injury. So they were having to get him off the TV after this match. So I knew going into this match, he's definitely going to lose. Didn't know how and why, but it was announced. There was a couple of internet sites rumouring that he was being written off TV last night.
I'd stayed away from any of the news yesterday. I tried my best. I thought after whatever had happened on SmackDown, and you and I'm sure we'll discuss it over the time. I needed a break, so I stayed away from all the news. So I wasn't aware of that. But I'd said to you the ending was going to happen. We'll get there. So it doesn't surprise me that he lost. If he's injured, let's say give him some time. The man's been working almost solidly for 4 years at top level. Give him some decent time off. Let him recuperate. Let him recover if he's injured.
And I believe the rumours, because of the way they popped his nose in that spot when he went under the commentary desk, that was obviously blading or a blood pack, but they focused on the nose to be able to say, oh, he's got a broken nose or whatever. So I do believe those rumours. Before we get to the ending, I do like the pacing of this match. I'm not a lover of slow wrestling usually, but I think it suited Punk and Gunther well, because both of these were able to tell the story. The first half was a bit like a chess match, and I quite enjoyed that. And I thought I wouldn't, being a casual fan. Being a casual fan, I want excitement and shenanigans and stuff. I know, like, you're a wrestling purist, so I knew you'd appreciate the beginning of that match. So, did you appreciate the beginning of the match?
Their pacing was amazing. This is what I want when I watch a Gunther match. I think this has been some of the issues I've had with the J matches. Whilst they've been good, Gunther works at a slower pace. I want to see those wrestling holds. I don't want to say like the rest holds, but the impact, the storytelling that's going on. Punk is the right person for that, because he will give you those moments. He'll be able to pace it nicely. You feel like you're getting told a story. What you're watching. You're dragged in, and then you're sucked out with some of the moments, and then you get back dragged in again. These two have great chemistry, and maybe we should revisit this down the line somewhere. I don't think we will, and I think there's a reason for that. But I liked it. I thought both guys gave 110%. And as I expected, it was definitely one of the best matches of the night.
Yeah, and like you say, it makes sense. Like, Punk went to UFC, so he would be doing groundwork moves. So it's not even like he was out of character for his moveset, which I appreciated as well. I like the fact the way Punk made Gunther look strong as a champion, having to have 2 go-to-sleeps for the ending, not just the one. I think it puts Gunther over well. And if he, as we said a minute ago, if he's injured and he's having a bit of time off, I think he's in a strong position for where he gets back.
Yeah, I think what we've got to be careful, I think he's a very good natural heel. We've got to be careful we don't turn him face, because I don't see it works as well. If he is a face, I think his best work is as a heel. I want to mention a frog splash from Gunther. A frog splash. Right? That tells me that's a good story. That tells me I need to try something new to try and beat this guy. So I like the storytelling of it. I want to give CM Punk his kudos, because as they gave him his belt, the emotion was there. And as a fan watching that, I was like, oh my God, I feel this is what a moment. This is amazing. And if you've cut the feed off then, I think we'd have all been happy. I think we'd have thought, wow, tears from CM Punk. He deserves this. Excellent. Obviously, then Seth comes out with the crutches and the knee brace. We didn't just do the crutches. We went full on knee brace. Brilliant.
Yeah, and then obviously it was being relayed that the message was, hold it while you can. He then goes to walk off, and all of a sudden just does like the Jesus pose, and the crutches drop. This is where I would have done it differently. I would have had Seth come out of the crutches and give that message. Then I would have had on Monday Bronson and Bron beat Punk up when he comes out to do his thank you speech. Then I would have had Seth cash in on Monday night. Because of this, in a way, was the worst kept secret. Half the internet, including myself, thought it was legit. Other half, including you, thought this was a work. They tried to still keep it a bit as legit with the crutches. If you'd waited till Monday, I think that would have got blown people's minds. I think the fact they still pulled the trigger on it when everyone sort of knew it was happening And I even think with the Punk celebration, totally agree with all the emotional that, but the fact it went on that long without no credits coming up, I knew it was happening. So I think it got to a point where everyone knew it was happening, they still pulled the trigger. I just think if they'd waited until Monday, it would have got that impact of being a massive shock again.
No, I think last night was the perfect time. What I would have done is if I'd have had him come out with the crutches, I'd have had him walk down to the ring, get in CM Punk's face, like, I'll come for you with the title, I'll go this. Bronson and Bron come in, batter the living crap out of him, and then have him do the Jesus pose. Let him then go ping, then him go ping, then hit him, then do that. I think A, it makes Punk look really strong that it's taken 3 of them, plus the weapon shot, plus a Gunther match to get him out. And B, it shows that faction, because it is my biggest concern, because Bron Breakker is becoming a huge star, that we're going to have to break this up if we're not careful. Get them out all on the same page. We work this way. I think last night was the best time to do it. I think they could have just tweaked it a little.
Yeah, and it was still a shock value, as in the way is people have been umming and ahhing all week, and the fact that it happened. Fair play to WWE for trying something different by going with a legit injury for the last couple of weeks, keeping Seth off of TV. When he's gone and done radio interviews and podcasts, he's selling the injury completely. That's a nice touch of someone getting injured on Monday and then coming back on Friday when it's at work. I think fair play for them for trying that. Just, I think everyone say cynical and things do get out. It wasn't executed perfectly because I don't think you can now sort of do that.
No, in the modern age, keeping those kind of secrets is difficult. I think he actually did have a slight injury. I think when we say that, I think when he said I'm injured, and I don't know how long, I think he was injured, and the interviews he gave, he wasn't lying, he just wasn't telling the full truth. So I think that's it. I do want to mention something that it occurred to me as I was watching the Slim Jims advert. Where the hell is LA Knight? LA Knight beats Seth, and he's disappeared. It's like he got punished for beating Seth. And I think that's wrong.
Yeah, hopefully they're bringing him back after this weekend, but we'll have to wait and see. But before we go, obviously we're going to have to mention tonight's title match because we did predictions separately this week. So we've got our things. And also, there was a couple of things from last night that are now making me think things are going different. So I know I put out a video saying John Cena's face turns to work. I now don't believe that. I believe Cena is now face. I believe we're having The Rock and Travis Scott coming back tonight because they were involved in the video package of the start of SummerSlam. Some of their clips were used. And to me, WWE said they're done with Travis Scott. Usually when they're done with someone, they remove them completely from all the product. The fact they're still using him in the video clips, the fact that Cena mentioned his friends that left him, makes me believe they're turning up tonight. They're turning up pissed off with what Cena said on Friday, the fact that he's now turned back to face. So they're now going to side with Cody. But I also believe Cena's going to beat them all up, and we're going to end with the face Cena holding up the belt, and that's the feel-good moment, and that's why we didn't get it from Jenny Roll last night.
Yeah, I will agree with everything except I think Cody's turning heel tonight. I think I've said to you multiple times, it is a mistake, it's the wrong time, but I think that's where we're going, and I think it's going to be heel Cody holding the belt up with The Rock, with Travis Scott, showing off. I think what we'll end up getting to is potentially, I don't want to be thingy, I think we'll get some sort of massive Rock Cena angle because that'll blow the internet like wide open. Absolutely.
Yeah. No, I agree, but I think with this ending, so they're going to start beating up Cena, and R-Truth is going to come and save Cena for that feel-good moment. Because again, R-Truth's been missing, but they used him in the video package at the start of SummerSlam as well. So I think R-Truth is coming to save Cena tonight, and we're having the face Cena holding up the belt, standing next to R-Truth with The Rock, Travis Scott, and Cody all laid out on the floor. I know my predictions have been really rubbish this week, but guys, I guarantee you, it's not a prediction, it's a spoiler.
A really bad spoiler at the moment.
I got night one completely wrong.
I got a couple right. I think, looking back at it, Cody's still got it. I think we're turning him heel at the wrong time. I think we should have done this John Cena thing after he loses the belt to Cody, and
Yep.
we do this as a storyline later. I think we pulled the trigger like 2 or 3 days early. So, and we already worked out his last show is obviously going to be in Boston. So, on a main event, he's going to have some sort of match.
Yep.
Who knows who it could be?
Well, Tim, this was our first part of our podcast this weekend. Let us know your thoughts in the comments for SummerSlam Night 1. If you're watching this after Tuesday, part 2 will also be in this description, so go and check that out in this link. Before we go, though, Tim, can we have Tim's top talent from Night 1?
Yes. I've crowed about him and it drives me mad. We're going to go with Logan Paul, unfortunately. Bloody prime drinkers. I mean, yeah, he looked great, so he'll be my top talent of the night, shall we say.
Yeah, no, brilliant. Well, Tim, enjoy part 2 tonight, and I will see you tomorrow for our reaction.
Absolutely. I'll see you tomorrow morning.